We bought the cheapest quad on Amazon and turboed it, but it was loud, smoky, and still didn't have enough power. So today we are building the ultimate sleeper drift quad with way more power than anything like this ever should have. So this engine was maybe making 3 horsepower, and with this tiny speed controller and this super tiny electric motor, we're gonna be doing 26 horsepower. This thing is going to absolutely shred, and most importantly, do wheelies, man. I am taking off these heavy steel wheels and replacing them with light aluminum go-kart wheels. And I also need to remove anything to do with the gas engine and electronics because we are completely redoing the powertrain of this quad. This was the second turbo we put in here, and look, it's only a little bit bent. And look, the bearing's okay.
That's a good sign.
This is the best Amazon turbo we've ever taken apart. They always look worse than this, but I guess we didn't use this one for that long. Pressure washing the frame was a mandatory step because it was covered in oil for some reason. We're taking off the first brackets because when I was mocking up the motor, I want to get it as close to the swing arm as possible so it doesn't mess up that geometry. You want your sprocket as close to the pivot point of the swing arm as possible, right, Ethan?
Yes, you want it.
Like
Yeah,
right
the minimal offset in this direction. If you imagine that line going up here, you want your drive sprocket to be slightly below that center line. Obviously, the closer you have it to this in this direction, that just minimizes the change in chain tension throughout the swing.
This shock is so heavy.
Oh, it's so beef for like what this thing is.
Yeah, I think we have like a $60 Amazon air shock laying around somewhere.
No, I was thinking like Fox.
Okay. Normally I'm on the filming end of that, and you get way less sparks when you're actually doing the work.
Do we have more filters this size?
Yep. Yeah, we've had that lens for like a week. I figure the closer it is to the frame, the stronger it's going to be.
That is correct.
Your hand blocking. That's
Yeah, well, if you really want to watch it up close,
Oh, yeah.
put on one of the welding helmets. What the?
these are from that wedding I went to.
Oh, right.
Because this mode, you're like pretty much like out and exposed, and this mode is plasma cutting mode.
Yeah. So that first step when we did the setup, when I talked about the 0 point, that little, I can't take you seriously.
What if I do one claw up? Half serious.
I don't think that makes a difference.
No, okay.
It does help a little bit because you can actually see your eyes. But
We'll do 2 claws up for now. Yeah, it totally blocks it. Doesn't even hurt your eyes.
I'm gonna buy some pink spray paint. I don't think you're gonna need to buy tinted spray paint.
We have enough.
I think we have plenty. Remember the minivan situation?
That significantly decreases the chance of me getting grinder spark in
It
my
makes you
glasses.
look like you know what you're doing too.
Yeah, I feel really sophisticated in these. Like I could figure out what a fork is under the sea. Probably should have hit me sooner, but I just realized I don't know how to weld.
I've seen what happened the last time you welded.
Yeah.
How's
You know.
your phone looking?
Well, it's not. I thought it would instantly get way more cracks, but you know, that was my first time welding. Hopefully my second time goes better. I think it looks even better with a circle. I should have done that just from the get.
That looks cool.
But now I just need to change my tool path because the tool path still wants to cut in there. And I don't know how.
So now go to the fabrication tab.
Second plasma cut. Fully prepared. They should make industrial, like with actual dark lenses, like the welding hood in here. So you could just crab around. That'd be so cool. The old gas tank bracket
Nice.
makes for a great fishing pole. On this side of the motor mount, as you can imagine, our little China quad isn't perfectly straight. So these being the exact same size didn't work out. This one has to be a little shorter. To make up for the difference here, I got a cutout from the arc droid. This is from the eye. I already flattened this side. It's going to be the perfect size.
Have you ever tacked this stuff before?
But I imagine you just touch the little button and then it sticks together. We're about to find out.
think you
Ethan's
got it.
deep in the lathe session, but if I get this tacked, I can keep moving forward, so. I mean, right?
I think that worked.
I'm sure when you're actually doing the rod and stuff, it's a lot more challenging, but that at least held it in place. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So basically, I'm making some tabs for the speed controller, and we're gonna use riv nuts, so we don't need to like stick our hand weird in the frame with around all these wires to try to get this on and off. That'll just be our fixed nut in the tab. That's what this hole is there. And then I just need to make sure that the flange of the tab isn't so big that it gets in the way of this heatsink. Yeah? All right, come on in, come on in. This right here is what used to be the Electro & Co. 20,000 watt setup.
Wow.
Huh?
How did they make it that much smaller?
I don't know, but could you imagine how much room this would take up in the little quad? It just wouldn't fit. But now, this one here is the 28,000 watt setup from Electro & Co. So you can tell that every year they just keep getting better and smaller, which at a certain point you think physics would take the lead, right? Like at what point can we not fit more electrical power into a smaller package? This is crazy. Just look at them, man. Especially next to each other. That's a sight for sore eyes.
It does make my eyes sore.
You're dropping the bucket?
This super tiny little bracket just went straight to the bottom of this bucket, I think.
Well, sometimes it's faster to cut a new one than find the...
Yeah, that's a good point. There's no way I'm gonna find that.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yeah, for real. 5.5 years later, you're filming me.
Dude, 5.5? What are you talking about? We're 6.5 years into this.
I'm a year behind.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny because Edwin all the time is like, hey, could you say that again for the camera?
Yeah.
I just pulled that. I was like, oh, cool, nice. You explained that. Now do it again.
Yeah. When I initially measured the distance, it's tighter here and then it kind of V's up wider here, which is why I did short brackets on the bottom, long brackets on the top, that were going to go like this, kind of tuck it in here behind the shock. Mm-hmm. But these riv nuts actually stick out past the fin,
Right.
so it doesn't fit as far down as I thought, but it actually works out better because now I can flip these tabs up, get the whole unit higher, which means we actually will get a bit of airflow from the top of the battery.
Very nice.
Anchor challenged us to do a build for 24 hours using only the power from the Anchor Solix F3800. While I'm mounting the speed controller up here, we're gonna charge this crazy powerful battery with this even more crazy powerful solar generator.
We'd have it plugged into solar panels, but it's kind of raining out there.
We're hoping we can bust out the panels tomorrow. For this project, I chose the Noisy Cricket speed controller because you can easily tune it with your phone, and for the motor, the One. These are both by Electro & Co, and this is the smallest package that can handle this much power I have ever seen.
Time for Edwin to get a TIG welding lesson here and to show off how this Anchor battery bank can run our big ol' welder. This plugs the Anchor power bank into the entire shop here.
It even has plugins for your RV. We can charge the Tesla on this thing. It is just so powerful, so portable, and you're about to see a lot of it in the next 24 hours of this build.
400 watts is drawing right now, and turn the welder off. Now it's drawing nothing. That's one powerful fan.
Yeah,
Just this thing sitting here idling. Well, it is also running the water cooler and everything else, so it's running a lot.
And this setup is super cool because next time we have a power outage in the garage, we can just run the whole garage off of the Solix 3800 and keep working.
If your fitment is perfect, in other words, if the two pieces are touching,
Yeah.
you don't need filler rod for a quick tack.
Okay.
So you can just get this nice and close. You can see right there, it doesn't reach into the corner. You can extend it out farther for that.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're welding like on a flat part, it's easier to have it closer in so you can rest it on something.
Okay.
So you can't. But the main thing is don't touch that to the metal. So you can hold the part with one hand, and since in this case all the brackets are just touching, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So you can just
I figured I'd start with an easy weld.
In this case, we know that cab is thicker than the other metal.
Yeah.
You can start on that. See right there. Oh, so you're almost melting the thicker tab into the thinner.
right. People who really TIG weld for a living would not approve of this method, but not the drill part, but the bench grinder. So you just want a nice fine point on there.
It got up to 2,378.
Dang! That's impressive. That's running at like, what am I running at? 90 amps on here? 92 amps. But if you're just tacking, you can just leave the rod right there and just melt the end of it into place. Tack. Uphill here, you'd want it slightly angled this way. If you're going downhill, you want it slightly angled that way. I don't know what number of degrees, just a bit. That helps like melt the rod into it as it's going. It just, I don't know. That's just the way it is. You're gonna want it to be pointed a little bit more that way, so that more of your heat is concentrated on the thicker piece. Because if you're pointed straight at the thin piece, it's just gonna melt a hole in that before this gets melted.
Oh, it's bad.
It's gonna be for a while. So yeah, you tried to go really, really fast. And you welded like 3 tacks across the place where you were supposed to. But hey, you got one chunk.
That
welded.
one's touching both sides.
Yeah. So I think
So I
you
just
tried
heat
to go
this
way
up
too
and
fast.
pull away to get this on.
Yep. Yeah. Just grab that and just heat it up and pull it out.
So
of there.
much slower.
Yeah, I mean, because you didn't actually even weld that. You just kind of stuck some metal in random
I was
places.
just too worried I was gonna burn a hole in this.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that quick. I was just
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It's also just pushing the arc the right direction. Like you're putting the arc straight into this corner. Whereas if you come at it from up here, the arc's kind of like pointing off into nothing over here. You know, like. How you liking that TIG welding life?
It's super fun.
I don't think that's the worst thing I've ever done in the whole world. I mean, it looks like somewhat structural, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got like
That's
way
not gonna
too.
break.
I got way too far in the thick steel here, way too far in the thin steel there.
There in the middle, but you know,
Yeah.
it'll hold. Like I said, the great thing about TIG is you can just go over it again and make it smoother.
I do think I stabbed your helmet though. I didn't realize how hot it is after you're done.
Oh yeah, I have burns all over myself from doing that. Like, especially when you have like the long full-length piece one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice.
You want to come film me put these shocks together for the Humvee?
Absolutely.
Is it the moment of truth?
Hopefully, I've got everything plugged in. These are labeled really well. Do not use.
Oh, that's good.
New features coming soon. I'm excited to see what that's all about.
Wow, it says do not use and new features coming soon?
Yeah.
That's so much more information. Usually wiring just has like one label that's got like a code on it. Do you
Yeah.
know what it means?
Exactly. And this one says not for key switch, which is good because that's what I had it plugged into. Reverse switch only.
Ah.
But you can actually tune reverse in this controller anyway, so
That's super cool. You
got
never
this
know.
thing charged up on the anchor.
Ooh. Lights
Okay.
came on.
Yeah.
83 volts.
And we'll take off. I may leave that on until I'm done welding and grinding.
Good plan, good plan.
All right, power mode 1.
Ooh, let me come around to the side so the camera can see the spinny. Oh, yep, that's backward.
This is gonna be. I guess you can't really.
You can't tell any difference in the power modes because it just hits max RPM in half a second. That thing sounds angry.
This is gonna absolutely rip. Isn't it funny that like is 20,000 watts? Just the equivalent power in like an engine would be like, brah! Like that quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I guess the next thing to do is re-drill this sprocket we got in the mail to fit these holes.
So we're gonna drill the new pattern exactly, or close to exactly opposite this. What is our new bolt pattern? It is, let's see. Those are really not the most accurate of holes, but whatever.
It is the cheapest quad on Amazon.
It sure is. To figure out the new bolt pattern on here, we need to take this pattern here and then subtract the center bore from that so that we can measure from this edge to where the center line of the bolts are. So now we line that up with any point on that line. The fact that it went dead center through that other line that I drew on there is a good sign. It means that things are accurate all the way around. This has a degree indicator on the bottom. So you just take 360 divided by 4, which obviously is super easy, it's just 90 degrees. So you drill a hole, rotate 90 degrees, drill a hole.
Oh.
So that's why I say you want to start at 0, just so that you have, it's just easier that way. Obviously you could always just do some math, but so if we just drill a hole right there to start with. It's always a good day when you can hand thread all 4 bolts. That means they're not all cross-threaded.
I like how you're currently completely rebuilding the monster chopper for the biggest custom car show in the world and an LS Humvee. And
It'll probably end up at LS Fest, which is another really big custom car show.
I'm distracting you all day to help me with my little Amazon quad.
You know, building is building. It's all fun. But yeah.
Oh man.
That is
Nice.
pretty funny. Yeah, it looks nice and straight.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean,
that little
that's
quad
about as...
is probably from this.
Or just this, too. It's all cheap Chinese parts, so, like, any one of them could be off.
Yeah. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, it's already topped off the drill battery and the GoPro batteries. And with all the welding and everything, we're at 70%.
Nice.
In its current state, we'll be able to go in reverse at about 50, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. Look how not straight that axle is. Look at the... And the brake, like, the brake rotor's also warped.
Oh yeah. It's gonna
This thing
rip.
is so quiet, too.
It's silent but deadly.
This one doesn't, yeah. That should be this thing's name. Silent but deadly.
So it just goes through your Bluetooth. This is Noisy Cricket. So right here, we just have a button that says change direction. Are you sure? Change direction. Done. Also, this is at 0.38 kilowatts is what it's currently at.
0.38.
Out of 20. Now that the motor is spinning the axle in the right direction, I need to tighten these two here to get the chain tight, and then make a spacer so my hubs look more like that and less like that. I got the measurement for my spacer lined up. Time to put the Solex to the test with another very powerful machine. This did its job. I couldn't say the same for my measuring. One of these is much larger than the other.
Okay. They don't really, all they gotta do is take up the space so
Yeah.
the bolt gets tight. It really doesn't matter.
I'll just sand this one down a little bit. In the morning, I'm bringing over the new 3D printer. So all night, as part of our 24-hour challenge, the Anchor's gonna be powering the garage, the time lapse of it filming itself, and most importantly, keeping the ice cream frozen.
That is most important, isn't it? It's the most important thing, is don't let the ice cream melt.
Yeah.
That's actually a great test. You know, in the morning if we come up to a puddle of ice cream, fail.
Back in the garage this morning, the solar generator powered the garage all night, still had 20%. So I think our ice cream test is gonna be a success.
I mean, it sure looks frosty. Let's find out here. Oh yeah, that looks frozen.
Rest assured, if there's ever a power outage at Grindhard, we will not lose our ice cream.
Can't lose the ice cream.
All that's left to do to make this thing fully functional for a test drive is build some motor mounts for this cool little Cafe Racer style seat found, and mount up the battery so it doesn't shake around while we're driving. And to do that, I'm going to 3D print these mounts with this carbon fiber reinforced filament from Bamboo Lab. It'll be interesting to see if this is strong enough. This is supposed to be stronger than what you'd get with a normal PLA filament. While I set up our new 3D printer, I'm going to take the anchor outside because it's finally nice and sunny out, charge it up with the solar panels so I can continue this 24-hour challenge by printing some carbon fiber reinforced parts with the power of the sun. You can tell these big wheels, you can roll it over dirt super easy. So if you had this plugged into your RV or camper in a campground, you could just bring it out to wherever the sun is, quickly fold out a panel, and you can just adjust really easily the angle that you want it on, depending on where the sun's at. We'll just go like 45. So you just put that strap there. And if you wanted it at less of an angle, you just strap it wherever it needs to be. Anchor Solix is launching their Power Outage Living Challenge. Join the contest by scanning the QR code or entering the Anchor Solix Power Outage Facebook group. All you have to do is share your power outage experience, starting with when the power is off, and ending with the words, in my daily life. Show off your energy and ingenuity and win a prize. Calibrating the 3D printer. It has the heated bed, all of the stepper motors, and the heated nozzle. It'll have more of a draw while we're printing, but so far this thing has handled everything we've thrown at it. While our printer updated and calibrated itself, I measured the battery and the frame of the quad to start planning my design for this battery tray. Have all of my measurements here for the battery tray. I'm going to do a test print right here on this bed scraper. Make sure this thing can run off the anchor.
What a shiny machine this is.
I know it can't live here or it will die.
Yeah, I gotta finish the loft upstairs so it's got a clean place to live at this shop.
Yep, there's our scraper tool. There's our part, and this is what it's for.
Nice. That looks like Shrek green if I were to guess that color.
Yep, that is exactly the same filament I used on Shrek.
Nice.
Yep.
Something tells me the battery tray is going to take a little longer to print.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be past our 24-hour challenge. Oh!
Nice!
Oh no! I'm way too slow for this challenge. But we still have 32% battery, so...
office over here. You got a computer and a printer.
I know. I'm just doing your standard run-of-the-mill desk work. That's exactly that tray there, because it knows what printer it is now.
That's cool.
And basically, all you have to do after the CAD stuff is choose your filament, which we're doing the carbon fiber reinforced one.
This front wall here, you could connect it around the corners farther up. You know, I know you have these corners gone for like clearance on the tubes.
True.
But if it's not connected at the top, that front wall
Yeah.
has no strength, and the battery, if you hit something, the battery would go poof
Yeah.
out there. Just a
Word.
thought.
So a piston fell off our wall onto the ArcDroid screen, and that's done for now. So we're going back to the basics of the way we used to do these kind of things before we had our robot friend. This old piece of crunchy taco fender, it's just the right width. With a super thick piece of cardboard on the Humvee's radiator, it's a perfect conveyor belt. So the robot worker was going while you were working all night, huh?
Yeah, I was redoing a bunch of wiring on the chopper because its gremlins came out again. It's electronic gremlins. I still have absolutely no idea. That's 3 times now I've had that problem, and 3 times I didn't actually change anything. I unplugged a bunch of stuff, stripped down a bunch of the wiring, looked at things, plugged it back in, and it worked again. Anyway, while I was doing that, yeah, the printer was going to town. Man, the supports come off really clean. I've seen some prints that, like, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I've seen other people's prints where, like, you have to really, like, scrape them off. This just peels right off.
I think this carbon fiber reinforced one is better than the regular PLA too for that.
Yeah, that could make sense, I guess.
It looks like that's a big enough gap for it to fit in.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Let's see. I did measure everything multiple times.
Heyo. Fits perfect.
All right. Yeah, I figure one strap holding it all down, and
Yeah, the printed part is really just to keep it from sliding sideways, so it should be plenty strong.
yeah, and super light. That weighed what? Nothing.
Oh, the only thing we might absolutely nothing.
It's light, and it's not going to rub against the steel casing.
Yeah.
Back on the drift quad, and the seat brackets are the name of the game for today. The hard part here is going to be they're not on the same plane. The seat has like a curve to it, and the quad also has a curve to it. So I'm just going to bend them little by little and keep test fitting. Boom! Yeah, let's do 5 more degrees on each side. Call that one done. We're gonna be test driving in no time. Yeah, that should do it. Oh, black Sharpie is not easy to see on dirty steel, is it?
Not particularly, no.
I'm surprised you don't have a Shrek green Sharpie yet.
Yo, we should make a Shrek shirt. I guess that'd be illegal. Oh, I had 2 holes and I messed that up. I guess I could have measured them and measured that onto the steel instead of just shoving the cardboard on it. If I get half as good at welding as I am at crashing drones, things will be a lot easier.
That's an interesting comparison because being good at crashing drones means you're bad at flying them. So getting good at welding in the same way that you're good at crashing drones kind of implies you'd be setting things on fire?
More phone damage.
Yeah.
So crazy, you just watch the steel melt.
I mean, this is my second day welding, but look at this stock Amazon weld right there. You see the wire just fully stuck on both sides of that weld. It's on the inside seam as well, so I reckon I can do better than Amazon on day 2, maybe.
Well, you can do better than that because that's not the kind of welding you're doing, so you couldn't possibly do that.
Yeah.
I guess I was looking more at the tip and less where the steel was actually going.
Yeah, you want to be looking at the puddle, liquid steel. That's the important part.
Uh-oh.
Burn a hole in it.
No, just let some paint on fire. Time to put on the tires, let those brackets cool, and then do some burnouts and wheelies, man. Oh my Lanta. Here we go. The last 6 bolts. And then we are riding. This is my creation. Pretty nice. That's Ethan's creation. Pretty also nice. I could really use one of those cat posters right now that says like, it's possible, you know? Because I'm looking at this, thinking that it's just not possible. When I took this off, I knew it was going to be hard to put back on.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh, hey, look at that. I haven't test driven anything in a while. How it works around here is the person who built it test drives it, and I've never built anything, so it's nice to be the guinea pig. 20,000 watts of electric power in the cheapest quad on Amazon. We're about to, oh, I don't need these. Ethan super cleaned the garage last night, so.
And I'm setting up a barrel, a figure 8 barrel course for you here, except instead of barrels, we've got welding tables and the monster chopper. And you go under the Humvee, so you can go through here, underneath the Humvee, around the back of the jet boat, and then figure 8 around the chopper. Hang on.
That's intense.
That is actually. Oh my! What the heck? This is already faster than anyone should go on such a machine. Woo! A really good mental note is that it takes a long time to slow down.
We're not getting him off of that thing till the battery's dead.
Probably, yeah. Well, at least we can charge it up again.
Ah, indeed. With the power of the sun.
Oh man! I feel like this could go much faster than that theoretical speed of 40.
have a new lap time contender if that thing had some dirt tires on it.
This thing is absolutely nuts, man.
Edwin's love for tiny machines that are kind of terrible but go really fast. I've never seen anyone love anything the way he loves little machines like that. All you can hear is the sound of the tires just shredding the driveway.
Woo! And that's what 20,000 watts feels like. It's the cheapest one on Amazon.
I think he likes this more than Chang Li's.
I hope so. It's way better than a Chang Li, so I hope he likes it better. It's an improvement.
I just hit a big rock right on the chain and it just pulled her off. That is insanely cool. And I'm surprised with this cheap suspension, it actually feels really good. The only thing that doesn't feel good is when you go over a rock and it hits this.
Yeah, we heard that and we were like, oh no, that didn't sound good, but then you kept going, so we figured it was just that.
Yeah, and even then you don't really feel it too bad. Like this with some grippier tires like we put on the Camaro, holy smokes.
Yeah, I'll try. I was just saying that if it had good tires, it'd probably be a contender for a lap time, but I'll do one on the slicks anyway. Yeah, I think we need to tighten the chain.
Yeah, I think so. It is so much more controllable than the 26,000 watt go-kart. Because the go-kart didn't have any suspension at all. So when we were going around here, it was like really fast, really good traction with those off-road tires. But man, dude, was it so bumpy you couldn't even put the power down or steer. But with this one, even on the slicks, it eventually does get the power down and steers, man. Place that's safe.
This is safe up here.
Oh yeah. It's just so much power. Oh, at 10,000 watts, it's way more manageable. Wow! but it's still enough to really scare you, that's for sure. Yeah, I hear this grinding right before I hit the balance point. Oh, I bet it's the brake caliper.
It probably is. That sticks out further.
Oh, it's that. I think it's this. I could just cut that and shorten it. Or we could just order bigger tires, I guess. Let me know what you see hitting.
All right, I'll pay attention. Yeah, it's the bar.
It's so at exact balance point where this thing hits that if I sit on the seat, I actually can't even like get remotely to it. But if I sit on the very end of the bar, it sets the weight of the quad back and I can almost get the balance point.
Yeah, it looks really close. I guess if you just stay on the throttle.
Maybe we'll just consult engineer Ethan on, is it touching the edge or the bottom?
It's kind of like the outside edge.
Right there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a wheelie machine once we get that clearance issue sorted out.
Some kind of sparks.
Oh shoot! That was dumb. So the motor wires I just kind of like shoved under because I was excited to ride, and it was rubbing enough on the chain to short against itself.
Oh no. Oh man, I didn't even know those weren't tucked in better.
I should unplug the battery first thing first. Man, I hope I didn't fry something. Man, we didn't even get proper balance point wheelies, man. I should have one zip tie and that wouldn't have happened.
Well, I hope it's not
That
fried.
is just 100%.
Oh man. This always happens before I get to try machines too.
Yep, it really does, man. I just feel like that is something that was very obvious gonna happen from the get-go. But once I started doing wheelies, I've lost track of anything else, to be honest. When I'm doing wheelies on little electric machines, my mind is just in Chang Li land. What can I say?
I was just telling the camera, I was like, well, we're not gonna see Edwin again.
Yeah, the only reason I came back is because I fried it. Ah, man, I hope I didn't fry the motor. All right, well, if we get it working again, you're first up, Steven.
All right.
The only one that hasn't got
holding you to that.
Shred this beautiful machine yet. I can't think of the last time I rode a machine back to Ethan's garage. It's normally the walk of shame for me. Oh look, now all this motor probably has resistance because those two phase wires are touching. Oh, that's better. We're wheelbarrow boy. The whole thing was hitting everything.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually good that it was here. Otherwise this would have been bent and this would have been bent. And we wouldn't be a quick fix a wire away from more sending. How much you want to bet Ethan can guess exactly what happened?
I don't know. He might have a few ideas.
Guess what happened with what?
Why I'm doing the walk of shame right now.
Well, I see your battery flopping around, but I'm assuming that's not the problem.
Oh yeah, that's just because it's at an extreme angle at the moment.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess you slammed it into a rock or something.
Not far off. I just didn't zip tie the motor wires. and they rubbed on the chain. So I'm really hoping it didn't short the something.
Wow.
Back in the garage, I stripped back the wires. It was really just the plastic on the outside that was rubbed off, so I separated the wires by electrical tape and then zip tied everything out of the way so this wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, I definitely smell the magic smoke.
Yeah, I'm Magic Smoke, the controller. Such a beautiful, awesome controller too, but just a little bit of stupidness can get you pretty far.
That should be a t-shirt.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean, I still don't think you really won any kind of prizes, stupid or not.
Did get in a few nice wheelies though, you gotta admit. That's a really good sign. Oh yeah!
That's good.
Nice, now I'm just gonna make sure all of my wires are in very safe locations and then I'm gonna put the seat back on, okay?
What happened now?
I have my first catastrophic failure, man.
Uh-oh.
My 3D printed battery mount is,
What, it broke?
it didn't hold to the power, man. All right, Ethan, we've learned something on every test drive. And this time we learned about printing thicker walls on 3D prints.
Yeah, if you'd use a ratchet strap instead of a bungee, it
might have
probably would not
blasted.
have broken.
Yeah, but this, it lets
That's-
it move around too much and it just ripped off.
Oh yeah, the bungee's doing almost nothing.
Yeah. Yep, I think the battery's stable. I'm with Ethan.
Did you put it in higher power mode?
No,
That's still 50%? Mm-hmm. Oh.
it's got twice that much. It's always really rare that we don't break something the first day. Bad enough for Steven to get a drive.
I know. I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna drive this one before it's completely wrecked. Well, hopefully we don't completely wreck it, actually.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Can I just unplug it and go?
Oh yeah.
Give me like a safety rundown on this thing. I like the gasoline stuff, but there's something about this. You can just let it charge by the sun, just turn it on, it's quiet. We could drive it all night long. Ethan's neighbors wouldn't call the police.
Yep. And we could ride it around town and do wheelies.
I mean, that would be also
Which is why we're calling it the sleeper build.
that. I could see myself going off a cliff or something. Whoa! It is not a bump machine. Oh gosh. I might just stop while I'm ahead, dude. This is frightening. I couldn't imagine this thing in the full power mode. I don't know, like, I mean, it shows on camera how crazy it is, but just riding it, I was probably going half as hard as you were, and I was getting scared.
You should hit a donut in the driveway, man, before you
Alright.
put it away. Yeah, buddy!
I couldn't even see anything. We're creating the apocalypse.
She's a ripper, man.
Dude, she's a real ripper.
Well, I'm calling this build a success. It is so much fun, especially once we do some suspension and get some wheels and tires that are actually meant for this build. Woo!
We have links to all of the electronics used in this video in the description, and make sure you check out this QR code to check out the Anchor giveaway. Thanks for watching.
Then I flipped it around.